To do. Nobody should rush Parliament. We will do what is expected of us and be very diligent about our.
Final medical report reveals Joy News' political reporter Kwesi Parker-Wilson suffered from an inflammation of the right eye following a hefty slap from a member of former President Mahama's security detail.
My confirmation from the Soweto police indicates that today we received a report from Parker-Wilson on an assault that has been made on him.
We'll bring you details as police begin investigations into the issue.
You want to stay with us for all that and more here on Newsnight. My name is Evan Spencer.
And I am Aisha Ibrahim.
We have details right after the break.
I came to Bond because I wanted to expand my business.
Bond's intervention in our company has provided us with capital to grow our stock and also to expand our machinery.
Without Bond, I should have folded by now.
The way the girls relate to you, the way they talk to you, wow, I really love it.
Just a phone call and I'll be sorted out. That assurance is incredible.
Bond is the answer to the SMEs in Ghana.
Bond here, you come
Bond is 10 years. Come on, let's celebrate your success, our passion.
Bond, your success, our passion.
Hello. I say, how did you know? Vodafone normal 10 megabyte free data. It will call Smart Rubiadron. Share.
Hello, have you heard that Vodafone is giving 10 megabyte free data for every minute you talk? You just dial 50-50.
Yeah, hello? Aha! Right now, with the Vodafone people, just they call plenty. Sake of us, you talk 1 minute, you go get 10 megabytes. You talk 2 minutes, you go get 20 megabytes. 3 minutes.
Call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. It's simple. Talk to browse. The more you talk, the more data you get. Dial 50-50 to subscribe. Talk more, browse more. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, Yimshi. I noticed that all the national stadia in Ghana have lasted for decades.
Oh, yes. But do you also know that the concrete bridges are also decades old?
Yes.
Only one company in Ghana can give you that guarantee, and that is Gassem.
Cement that guarantees smooth finishing of plastering.
That is the Gassem Super Rapid 32.5R. If you want to have strong blocks for any form of construction, use Gassem Super Strong 42.5R. For your time-tested bridges like the Adome, multi-story buildings, highways like the motorway, then it is Gassem Extra 42.5N.
And the good news is, all these cement products are made right here in Ghana.
Gassem, 3 cement grades, unique quality. Gassem, the nation builder.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
And you're live on Joy 99.7 FM. We have some breaking news coming through. Aisha?
Of course. So it's about the man who was implicated in the Anas number 12 expose. You know him, Kwesi Nyantakyi, and he's been banned for life from all football activities. And tonight we've cited the latest statement from FIFA. Baba Tando joins me here with details. Baba, why is the Kwesi Nyantakyi being banned from all football activities?
Okay, so first I think it will be prudent to put to make public the statement from FIFA, and this is it, and it's on the FIFA website. Adjudicatory Chamber of the Independent Ethics Committee sanctions Kwesi Nyantakyi. The adjudicatory chamber of the Independent Ethics Committee has banned Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, former president of the Ghana Football Association, GFA, for life from all football-related activities, administrative, sports, or any other at both national and international levels. The adjudicatory chamber found Mr. Nyantakyi guilty of having violated Article 19, which is about conflicts of interest, Article 21, which is on bribery and corruption, and Article 22, Commission of the FIFA Code of Ethics 2012 edition. As a consequence, Mr. Nyantakyi is banned for life from all football-related activities, administrative, sports, or any other at both national and international level. Additionally, a fine in the amount of 500,000 CHF franc has been imposed on Mr. Nyantakyi. The decision was notified to Mr. Nyantakyi today. That's October 30, 2018, and the ban comes into force immediately.
That's pretty severe.
Yeah, that's
was he on suspension till now? Because what was the FIFA position on him before today?
Okay, so on June 6th and 7th, after the expose was shown to the public, later on June 9th, Mr. Nyantakyi was given a provisional 90-day ban, following which it was extended by a further 45 days in September. So he was still serving that ban before today, and the latest is what we are hearing from the adjudicatory chamber of the Ethics Committee of FIFA. Finally putting together their investigations and concluding on all the matters in relation to this expose that had implicated Mr. Nyantakyi, and further giving him the life ban and also fining him by 500,000 CH franc.
Certainly doesn't look like an end to the matter. I'm sure it's starting all over again. Nathaniel Arthur is here in the studio. Nathaniel, this should be a blow to the football fraternity. What does this mean?
A very big one at that. And until the airing of the number 12 documentary by Anas Arimaya Anas, Kwesi Nyantakyi was Ghana's biggest export in terms of football to the rest of the world.
Of course.
Now let's put all of this in context. At the time, he was serving as the vice president of CAF. Now, by the workings in the background and by what we know, the possibility was that the next time there was going to be any contest for the presidency of CAF, Kwesi Nyantakyi was going to be the man for it, because there's a lot of talk about how Ahmad may not necessarily stay beyond a term. Yeah. Remember that CAF in itself wants to clean house a little bit in terms of putting together its reforms and going through its statutes all over again, so that we have term limits for people who lead the organization, so that we don't have incidences of what happened with the likes of Issa Hayatou, who's been there for so long. Right. So that was what we were seeing. Now, he had risen to the highest possible points that anybody could get in our history when it comes to football administration on the continent. And definitely it will be a very big blow, because the first thing you ask yourself is, when will be the next time that Ghana can get someone rise and make so much of an impact? Now, let me take you back a little bit. When Kwesi Nyantakyi put himself up for the very first time to stand as an executive committee member of the Confederation of African Football, he had, at that time, ex-President Mahama was a vice president. Ex-President Mahama traveled to Pram Pram, the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence, to give him support, and he attracted 25 of the a little over 50 federation presidents all over the continent.
That was massive.
25 of them for a position that was just limited to the West African sub-region. So from that moment, I knew that Kwesi Nyantakyi was playing his cards well, he was doing his networking well, and he was creating the needed relationships that could get him to lead the organization. So he was progressing steadily, and he was doing a lot of work in the background. Secondly, we remember very well that some time back, Kenya had a crisis in their football. And there was an incident where we had two federations claiming to be in charge of running football in the country. So when that incident happened, the then president of CAF, Issa Hayatou, sent Kwesi Nyantakyi out of the four zonal representatives to go there to Kenya and solve the crisis. And that was a very big vote of confidence in his ability. Exactly. And one of the other things that we may not necessarily remember is that, as the years went by, Hayatu grew a lot of confidence in Kwesi Nyantakyi's person. Mm-hmm. And the confidence also came to tell us something, that at least Kwesi was the man who was coming to break that jinx that the Francophone African administrators have had on the Confederation of African Football for a very long time. But hey, as we speak now, all of that has gone down the drain. And I guess that the people we need to start looking at are the likes of Tony Bafo, who's now the Deputy General Secretary for Football Development. I mean, in terms of progression, I mean, he's done a great job for himself, and I think that he's also moving very steadily.
Currently, General Secretary at CAF,
yes,
Deputy General Secretary.
So,
and then, Aisha, let me quickly add that the CHF, or the 500,000 Swiss franc, translates into $497,492, about $498,000. That's how much he's supposed to pay in fines. After being found guilty of conflicts of interest, of bribery and corruption, and of course of commission of the FIFA Code of Ethics.
But not many are surprised about how Kwesi could be so loose and could not watch his back. I mean, we all know Kwesi Nyantakyi in this country. Do you know, was it overconfidence?
Well, it is difficult to tell. I mean, in trying to do business and in trying to make a case, I mean, you go all lengths, and I guess that is what he did at that moment. I mean, nobody has listened to him since then. I mean, I haven't spoken to him since this thing happened, so I wouldn't know what kind of mindset he took into those meetings. But then what we saw is what we saw. It has brought very big levels of disappointment across board. We went through the process of having loads of people also lose a lot of confidence in the leadership of the FA. But at least we've gone past that, past that stage, and we're towing a new line with the appointment of the foreman normalization committee.
You remember how we had mixed reactions over this whole saga?
Sure.
How are football people responding to this latest information?
This is actually very, very fresh. It is difficult to immediately tell you what the generality of the fraternity is talking about. But one thing that struck was when the then executive committee went over to him after this news broke and showed him solidarity and said, we're with you in this very tough time. At that time, the then executive committee was saying to everybody that, something, this is our man, and we still have a lot of confidence in him, irrespective of what has happened. But like I said, all of these things are in the past, and we're towing a certain new path. And because of that, a lot of the things now become a lot of history which we have to refer to.
But this, for me, I'm just reading through it again, and Baba sort of brought clarity to this. He's going to pay a fine.
Sure.
$500,000 cedis fine.
Dollars,
$500,000 fine. That is very significant. And I'm just wondering how FIFA is going to get that money from him. Is it that they're going to... I don't know. We need clarity on that. He must pay this as fine to FIFA because he's been found culpable. And the areas in which he was found culpable, again, very serious. Conflict of interest, breached the article. Bribery and corruption, he was found culpable. And commissions. On the back of which he's going to pay this $500,000 fine to FIFA.
Very well.
Well, they don't indicate by which date this must happen.
Very well.
But he must certainly pay that fine.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, like you said, it's not stated in here whether there are any deadlines by which he is to pay the fine. However, I'm guessing off the top of my head that when these things happen, there is always room for negotiation as to how the money will be retrieved or how the money will be paid. And that is what I suspect could happen in this case.
Possibly there's a room for appeal, and we need to speak to his lawyers to find out if he may pursue that line as well.
Well, this is coming from the FIFA Ethics Committee, and once it's coming from the FIFA Ethics Committee, trust that
that's final.
If you want to go if you want to appeal against it, you've got to go to the highest possible, level, and which will be CAS. And trust me, if you don't win your case at CAS, you are in deep trouble.
So will this affect, I know there are a couple of sporting activities lined up for this year. Will this in any way affect those activities?
Not at all. Like I mentioned, we've moved one step further from that rather disturbing situation. A normalization committee has been put together. They've been given a clear mandate. They are running within a 6-month mandate. If they during the discharge of their duties realize that they cannot finish everything within the 6 months, they will ask for an extension, and FIFA, by its discretion, will give them a certain quantum of the extension, and then after that we can move forward. So now what we're gearing towards is that the normalization committee will put things together as regards some of the statutes and put regular competition back on track. And then after that, the whole football family will come together, redefine the identity, and then go to Congress and elect a new leadership. And then we revert to the Ghana Football Association.
Definitely the Kwesi Nyantakyi FIFA saga is not ending now. We are going to be following all the activities, and I'm sure Nat and Baba will bring us updates on what happens to Kwesi Nyantakyi.
And if you're just joining us, the breaking news story this hour is that FIFA has now delivered its final verdict on former FA boss Kwesi Nyantakyi, and they have banned Mr. Nyantakyi, former president of the FA, for life from all football-related activities, administrative, sports, or any other, at both national and international level. They found him guilty in 3 broad areas: 1, conflict of interest; bribery and corruption; and commission. In addition to that, he's been fined what amounts to almost $500,000 by FIFA. And this is an unfolding story that we'll be following very closely.
All right, so let's move on to Parliament, where Majority Leader Seche Mensah-Bonsu, who says Parliament will not be pressured to speedily pass the Right to Information Bill into law. His comments follow the prevention of members of Media Coalition on Right to Information from entering the House today to pressure MPs. The bill has been pending in the House for about 14 years.
Well, as Parliament resumed today, Aisha, from break, they've been on break for what? Almost 3 months. Members of the coalition attempted storming the House to put pressure on the MPs to prioritize the bill, but they were stopped and escorted out by police. Samuel Bing is one of the leaders.
We were told by members of the parliamentary security that they've been advised not to allow members of the coalition who come in our T-shirts to enter the Chamber of Parliament. Reason being that our T-shirt is equivalent in their mind to wielding wearing our T-shirt in the chamber is equivalent to wielding a placard in Parliament, which, so far as parliamentary rules are concerned, are not allowed. Now, this, in my mind, did not sit very well with the very purpose for which media people voluntarily decided to come to Parliament and to observe the sitting on the first day of Parliament, so that we can be able to understand whether there will be specific statements on RTI or not. When you do this, what impression it creates is that the media people in Parliament will carry the story as though there was some level of chaos in Parliament and all of that. But this could have been completely avoided. Remember that this media coalition's advocacy campaign has pledged not to be confrontational.
Well, actually, I'm just curious to know what my majority leader's position has been on this, because he's been the target of a lot of the advocacy. Seche Mensah-Bonsu, reacted to this. He says he and Parliament will not be forced into speedily passing the bill.
When we came for the recall, when we were adjourning, I said to us that when we came back, we'll be dealing with that. And that exactly is what we are going to do. It's not as if anybody is pressuring us. No, we are going to do it, and we know we have about 2.5 weeks before the submission of the budget. In between now and then, we intend to finish it.
Shouldn't you be responding to the pressure and be acting?
What pressure? We believe we know what we must do. We know what we must do. We are not responding to any pressure. We know what we must do, and we'll do it. The people of this country have sent us here to do a good job for them, and that is what we are going to do.
Isn't that why we are where we are? That
so why should anybody exert pressure on you before you do what you are expected to do? Nobody should rush Parliament. We will do what is expected of us and be very diligent about our job.
But the assurance is that by 15th of November, you would complete the consultation.
I want to believe. First of all, even if we are not able to do it by then, when the budget is presented, we debate the principles. So altogether, I guess we have at least about 3-4 weeks. And I believe within the 3-4 weeks, we will do whatever it takes to complete this bill.
Before the end of this session, the bill will be approved.
I believe so. And I trust that my people will be with me to complete that.
Something happened this morning. The ITI coalition members came around to the House, come sit in the gallery and, as they put it, pass some pressure for you to get this done. But they were prevented
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware. I think you are breaking the news to me. I'm not aware of that.
So what are you going to do about this? They are worried.
What am I going to do about what?
About them being prevented from coming to the House.
I've told you I'm not aware of that. And even if they came up there, it was not going to amount to anything. You can't sit in the gallery and exert pressure. Can you sit in the gallery and exert pressure? I've assured Ghanaians that we'll do what is required of us. And trust me, I believe with goodwill from all sides, we should be able to finish this job. Thank you very much.
But so that was Oseche Mensah Bonsu, majority leader, explaining that himself and Parliament will not be pressured to pass the bill. But what amazes me, Evans, is the fact that this bill has been pending for 14 years.
Yep.
When we've seen other bills passed in less than 2 weeks, when they're brought under emergency, I really don't understand. Because the House was also supposed to work on the bill today. But what that was deferred to tomorrow because members of the Constitutional Committee were absent from the House. Well, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, our man in Parliament, joins us with more. Joseph, what happened today?
So the consideration of the RTI bill was tabled and is one of the things that should have been dealt with. But the explanation was that the members of the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee are out of Parliament dealing with another issue having to do with the Companies Act so that then they can quickly bring it to the floor. So the majority leader indicated that in their absence, they can go ahead and consider the RTI, hence the decision to do that tomorrow.
But I know before they come back to the House, they have a business itinerary. Was this not part of it? Why is the committee not? Why were they not in Parliament today?
RTI is part of it, and the government has indicated, the majority has indicated that the issues having to do with the Companies Act is also a priority, and so they are out looking at it at the committee level.
I'm not sure the minority will take this kindly. How have they been responding to this?
Muntaka Mubarak makes the point that there is the need for government to prioritize the RTI if they want it out there and passed.
Well, we can now speak to one of the members of the group that today protested in Parliament, Elvis Darko, himself a journalist. Elvis, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. We just heard from the majority leader. He says he and Parliament will not be pressured into passing the bill. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think that I don't think that the majority leader in the first place should have said that they should not be pressured. I think that he should have rather said that they are sorry that they've not passed the bill as at now, because I believe that the majority leader, for instance, has been in Parliament for over 12 years now. This bill was first presented to Parliament in February 2010, and we are in October 2018. So if a bill that has gone to Parliament for the first time in October 2010, and we are in February 2010, and we are in October 2018, that is 8 good years of one bill going forth and back in Parliament. And if somebody who has been in the House all this while witnessed all this up to today, I am very sure, and I believe that if we are even pressurizing Parliament to pass the law, we have every right to do that. Because in the Fourth Republic, this bill is a bill that has lasted in Parliament longer than any other bill. And the question is, what at all about this bill is preventing Parliament from passing it for the past 8 years?
That's a question that we've been asking for ages. You tried to protest today. The position of the majority leader who leads government business says they will not be pressured. What's your next move?
Well, as he is saying that they will have to do it within 15 days, we are also hoping to make sure that we lay hands on the committee he's talked about to actually see the work they have done that they want Parliament to consider. Mind you, before they went for the break, the bigger RTI coalition presented 9 clauses to Parliament, and every member of Parliament was said that, look, the bill in that form will not help, and therefore amendments must be done before the bill is passed. We will want to know if those amendments presented by the RTI coalition have been factored into the amendments that they've done, the committee has done, before they are talking about passing. That is our first attempt. So we are also trying to see if we can lay hands on that document and look at it and make sure that those changes have been made. If the changes have not been made, then we have to go back to Parliament and ask them what is the problem that the changes that have been proposed cannot be factored into the law that is going to be passed. So I think this is the beginning. If they say 15 days they want to do it, if every amendment that was requested has been done, then we are okay when we support them to do it. But if we look into it and the amendments have not been done, then we as Ghanaians, we will follow, because we are not asking for a law that will deny us information. We are asking for a law that will actually give us information. So if we are identified about 9 different clauses that we believe that will be inimical to the objective of passing an RTI, we hope and pray that they have all been factored into the final bill that will be considered during the 15 days.
I'm grateful that you joined us, Elvis Darko, there is a journalist and one of those campaigning today and protesting in Parliament, demanding the passage of the Right Information Bill. And a few of your messages coming through on that breaking news story from FIFA. This one from Michael Inwa says almost all corporates in the Anas expose who are not Ghanaian have been prosecuted, and today we heard FIFA has also spoken to Nyantichi. Surprisingly, Ghana, where all this crime emanated from, till now, nothing has happened. Nothing has been done to those involved, be it the referees or football administrators, etc. Well, some of the referees were sanctioned recently. Ernest from Kukum says Che Mensah-Bonsu should be made to understand that parliamentarians aren't doing us any favors by passing RTI into law. We, the people from whom power emanates, are asking for the RTI. It is a human rights issue. What are they afraid of? Still ahead.
On Newsnight, final medical report reveals Joy News' political reporter Kwesi Parker-Wilson suffered from an inflammation of the right eye following a hefty slap from a member of former President Mahama's security detail.
My confirmation from the Soweto police indicates that today we received a report from Parker-Wilson on an assault that has been made on him.
We'll bring you details as police begin investigations into the issue.
Business now, and George is here copying my attire. George, you knew I was going to wear white, right?
Anyone who knows me in this office knows that I like white shirts. Okay. So, that's
at
one
least
of mine.
I'm here, so
in the middle.
But it's good to have Aisha in the studio.
Yes,
For
yes,
those
yes,
who know
yes.
Aisha, she's a great lover of Tundra cars because you know that ladies would love the saloon cars, but when it comes to Aisha's taste,
especially now
it has to do with a Tundra car.
Yeah.
And you have to see her in her car to understand what I'm talking about.
Aisha's cost of living is pretty out of the ordinary. So what do you have in the headline,
in business,
George?
German firm Siemens to establish presence in Ghana soon, and we'll hear from former Finance Minister Seth Tekwe on the current economic and financial policies being implemented by government. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And Mark Auto Parts, distributors of Chevy cars and Isuzu pickups.
In this part of the world, we rise early, way before the sunrise. We plan, we pray, we prep. Just so we are a step ahead, we keep the conversations going to stay connected to family, friends, and business. They say, Agrobeswa Ifrianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy MTN Kokroko bundle now.
But the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customers Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time
is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302-230-638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. And German firm Siemens is soon to establish presence in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo disclosed this when he delivered remarks at the ongoing G20 Compact with Africa conference in Berlin, Germany. According to the president, this shows that government is committed to improving the environment for the growth of businesses.
We believe that when the private sector flourishes and when our enterprises become competitive, not just on the continent, but also in the global marketplace, then we can create the thousands and thousands of jobs our teeming masses of unemployed youth crave. The decision, German car manufacturing giant Volkswagen establish an assembly plant in Ghana soon, and also the soon-to-be-announced decision by Siemens to set up a base in Ghana, and the project we have just had outdoored are testament to the efforts my government has put into creating the necessary environment for the private sector to flourish. We're not resting on our oars. We'll continue to work hard to attract investments, domestic and foreign, into Ghana so that we can unleash the sense of enterprise, creativity, and innovation of the Ghanaian people and help build a progressive, prosperous Ghana whose citizens live in harmony and security.
President Akufo-Addo, now former Finance Minister Setekpe, says he feels vindicated looking at the current economic policies being implemented by the current administration. There were reports that he was seriously actually criticized over his policies, even within people within the party, leaving the then opposition MPP. Now, this many questioned his approach of issuing bonds as well as other measures. But according to economists, majority of these programs didn't being pushed then is currently being implemented by this administration. Mr. Tekpe tells Joy Business the current development shows that he wasn't doing the wrong thing after all.
It's not a matter of being vindicated. I leave that to history. I leave that to Ghanaians. It's a matter of coming to appreciate that policies I put in place, some of which were in law, are continuing because they are market tools. They are not Tekpe's tools. They are market tools.
And I'm not for that. People attacked you personally for that. People said all sorts of things. People were moving heaven and earth to get you out of that seat.
The point I'm making is that you can't occupy a public office. Right, and not have some of these things coming up, So, yes, I had a party which wanted to remain in power, right? And mind you, we are dealing with a highly technical area of, how do we go into the markets? So, for example, I don't blame anybody who says, why are you putting money in a sinking fund when we need it today, right? You are only proving right when $750 million is taken off and it doesn't lead to debt before. Let me tell you that I had one experience in life as a public servant. I was the coordinator for the value-added tax when it was introduced. I was younger. It was devastating when the VAT was cancelled. I was a happier person when the VAT was reintroduced. But I'm a happier person today because the VAT in its 20th year has become the most stable source of revenue for the nation. And so anybody who lived through Kumi Preku, Semi Preku, and all the Prekons, right, maybe should, that's a lesson it taught me, lesson of forbearance when you are putting in, these measures, right? And so I'm strengthened by that.
Former Finance Minister Seth Tekwe. Now, Ghana Revenue Authority says the 4G operator Safeline has been given a 10-day ultimatum to pay tax defaulting or running into 37 million cedis owed the state since 2015 or face the full rigors of the law. The Debts Management and Tax Compliant Enforcement Unit of the authority today sealed off the premise of the head office. Others internet providers, as well as workers and managers, were asked to vacate the premises. Let's hear from Obiansa, is head of PR at the authority.
From 2015 up to 2018. Unfortunately, as you can see, we've been here. They did not make any payment. For that matter, we have locked or sealed off the place as the law requires. So that is what we came here to do. And for Safeline Limited, it consists of PAYE, that is the deduction from the employees, communication service tax, and VAT, all amounting, and then interest plus incidental costs, 37 million, no payments, so we have locked up the place.
Well, another telecoms firm, Glow, was actually missed the opportunity of being sealed, their premises being sealed off after they managed to pay some 2 million Ghana cedis out of a total 10 million cedis tax default. Now, the Bank of Ghana is optimistic that the ongoing banking reforms would soon be finalized to help restore the needed market confidence. The regulator last year began a series of activities aimed at cleaning up the banking sector. However, there are concerns about when these initiatives will be finalized. But the head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Osei Jesse, says the expected stability will soon be realized.
These decisions, we do all these analysis. If this bank should go down, how is it going to impact on the savings and loans? Because the savings and loans also have deposits with these banks. So we take all these things into consideration.
And the corrective measures have been put in place.
Certainly.
So
yeah.
the few runs that we've seen on these institutions are being addressed.
We have come out to say that all depositors will get access to their deposits. So we have put in place enough measures to ensure that we minimize the ripple effects of the failure of these banks on the other sectors of the economy, especially the savings and loans and the finance houses.
Did you see a strong banking sector come December 2019? Or these things will still linger?
Based on the work we are doing and the actions we are taking, I think we have even started seeing some results in terms of compliance.
And that's the head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, said Jesse. Now, there'll be more on these financial discussions. The Joy Business Financial Services Sector Reforms program, which is being put together by Joy Business this Thursday at Godian Chilib at 9:30 a.m. as you engage all the regulators in the financial sector. Talk about the Bank of Ghana, the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the National Insurance Commission. We'll also be engaging some players in all these sectors. So be there this Thursday at Godian Chilib at 9:30 a.m. Now, Energy Commercial Bank has extended its initial public offering that is expected to end on Friday, that is November 2 to 16th of November 2018. This follows approval for extension by the Securities and Exchange Commission. A circular by the Ghana Stock Exchange indicates that the listing of all the Energy Commercial Bank shares will now take place on December 18, 2008, instead of the initial arrangement of December. So let's turn our attention to the stock market. And for those who have invested on the market, you've made an average of about 30% on your returns, far better than what you've got or you've gotten on your deposit. Now, for these shares, Standard Chartered Bank continues to decline on the market. It went down by 86 pesos, trading at 21 Ghana cedis, 80 pesos. EcoBank also lost some 23 pesos and it's now worth 6 Ghana cedis, 67 pesos. GCB also went down by 5 pesos and is now worth 15 pesos as well, and lost 15 pesos and is now worth 5 Ghana cedis. And that's all for business on Newsnight. And Aisha, I love your car. Tundra.
Thank you very much, George. Now, the final medical report by doctors on Joy News political reporter Kwesi Parker Wilson reveal he is suffering from an inflammation of the right eye following a hefty slap from a member of former President Mahama's security detail.
Now, he was hit in the face whilst he tried to get access to the Pentecost University at Sotum, where the former president was meeting with authorities of the school as part of a 5-day campaign tour of the Greater Accra region. Here's Parker on the update after doctors conducted series of tests on him.
So he took me to the former president, and Mr. Mahama apologized. He said he's sorry. I should forgive the NDC, forgive him and the NDC party, and asked me to identify the young man who assaulted me. If I'm able to do that, he will deal with the young man. But unfortunately, at that moment, all the security guards present at the auditorium, he wasn't there. So I told him, oh, the man is not here at the moment, but if I'm able to identify him, I'll definitely let him know. And he said, yes, he wants that so that he can deal with the young man. So that is what happened. And when I went to the hospital, the doctor said I have an infection with the eye. So I should return on Wednesday for a critical examination of the eye. But he gave me some drugs so that it could relieve the pain or ease the pain that I'm feeling. Because as I said, as I speak to you right now, I still feel pains around.
See the red?
It's still red, yeah. So hopefully tomorrow I'll go to the hospital for the doctors to examine the eye, and then they can confirm if there is any injury or anything. I don't know.
And I'm sure the police have also been notified about this case and will be going there soon.
Yes, the managing editor, Mr. Kwashi, has already notified the police, and from here we'll be going to the police station to officially file a complaint, and I'm sure they'll take it up from there and investigate the matter.
Well, the police have begun investigations into the issue. ASP Efia Tenge is Greater Accra Regional Police PRO.
Yes, my confirmation from the Soweto police indicates that today we received a report from Parker Wilson on an assault that has been made on him, and as police procedures, he has been given a medical form to attend hospital and furnish police with a medical report, after which the police can continue with the investigations. So I can admit and also confirm that the police has received a report from the assaulted journalist.
What next after he submits the medical report?
It is procedural. Once a person is assaulted, he is given a medical form. He attends hospital. He is being examined by a medical doctor. Then the report is given to us. From there, the police take statement from him, and also efforts are made to reach or identify the person who assaulted him, and investigations continue from there.
So that's the police there, and confirming that a formal report has been filed. The police, they began investigations into the matter. He's also written a statement. The doctor's diagnosis, as we told you earlier, is inflammation of the right eye. The medical term, as we've seen in the report, is traumatic conjunctivitis. Well, as we've been speaking today, the Ghana Journalists Association has issued a statement condemning the incident. General Secretary Edmund Kofi Yeboah is on the line right now. Thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Yeboah. You condemned the incident, but we have been cataloguing a number of such incidents this year. In fact, we can count as many as 11 already. I know condemnations come. In this case, the former president's security had apologized, but is that enough?
Thank you very much. I think it is not enough. So in our statement, we have further called on the police to investigate. And I'm happy to hear if you think they speak to the issue that already the process has started. So I think beyond the condemnation, we need to see action taking place. We are also happy about the fact that the office of the ex-president has also given an indication that it will investigate the matter We want to see something happen to this matter, and let's find the perpetrator and let the law and deal with that person.
And going forward, and this is a case of the specific matter that we are dealing with Parker, but what about the long-term solution to the problem we are dealing with, that Parker is just one of many journalists assaulted?
Yeah, I think the long-term solution, I think we should be engaging more with each other. When I say we, I mean all the stakeholders. We have had a call to even call for a boycott. And in the instance of Latif Idris' case, when we had to boycott a program organized by the Media Foundation for West Africa and then the Ghana Police Service. But that may not be the solution to the issue. And the solution may involve a lot of things. And one of them is to engage with each other. I think we also need to understand each other's roles. And we need to understand the rules of security officers and political activists. They also need to appreciate the role we play. And I believe when we are able to do that, it will help address the situation. Beyond that, I think we all individually and collectively have a responsibility. The journalist covering any event has a personal responsibility about his safety. The media organization sending the journalists out also, I believe, has a responsibility towards the safety of the journalists. And we, as a professional body, we also have a responsibility. So we need to appreciate our individual responsibility and collective responsibility as well. And if we are able to do that, we will help address the issue.
Mr. Yeboah, it's been 11 cases already in 10 months, and none of these cases we've had or seen an end to investigations that began. Is the GJ aware of this? Does the GJ do any follow-up at all on these issues?
Yes, we do. Personally, if you take the case of Ohima's Petua, for example, I have been going to court on almost every day the case is called. So that is an example of the personal interest we've shown in these things. And you know, they say the wheel of justice grinds slowly. So it may take a little while. And if you take Ohima's Petua case, for example, the criminal aspect of the case, it is now that they are going to start the real issues, okay, and then the civil aspect of it. So these things take time, and we need to follow them through to the very end. But if you are calling for action by the DJ, I believe that engagement is one key thing we all need to do, apart from the fact that individually we also have a collective responsibility. Because if we take an action like we did with the Media Foundation for West Africa and the police, and some media institutions did not heed our call and attended the program, it became that very action. So if I may take your chair and ask, what other action do you think we can take that will be more effective to address this issue?
Well, of course, it's a question that we need to explore in some greater depth. I'm grateful that you joined us, Mr. Yeboah. I want to join us on PM Express as we interrogate this a bit more. But police in the Ashanti region have rescued a 15-year-old junior high school pupil from being married off at the expense of her education. Her father, Abdullah Abbas, who allegedly connived with his 30-year-old Niger-based in-law to perpetrate the crime, is in custody at Kenyase Ebirim in the Ashanti region. The intervention on the second day of marriage ceremony followed a collaborative effort between police and labor firms, said Rastus Asari Donko, and he has the following details.
Following a tip-off, I met and had a chat with a 15-year-old JHS student at Abrim. Her anxiety stemmed from one issue. Her father and uncles were forcibly giving her out to a 30-year-old distant cousin she has never met. She wanted me to help stop the marriage, which was due 3 days from my meeting with her.
The marriage should not come. So because I want to become something in the future, I want my education.
Who is giving you up to marriage?
My mom and dad. They tell me that I'm going to marry. I want to go forward for my education further. I'm also a child.
How old are you?
15.
And the man you're going to get married to, do you know him?
No.
Where is he?
They say he's in Niger.
I subsequently drew the attention of the Police Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, which detailed a team of personnel to mount a rescue operation. She was taken out of a room where they were preparing her for the marriage rituals. Her father, Abdullah Abbas, has been arrested and charged with compulsion of marriage. The girl has since been offered protective shelter pending the determination of the case. DSP Prince Kodia of the Regional Office of Dofsu spoke with Love News.
You see, the law is clear. You can only marry a girl to someone at the age of 18 years. So once we've gotten the girl, one will give her shelter. The perpetrators, the both families are going to face justice.
There are indications arranged child marriages are denying many girls at the Abrim education. Some teachers who want to remain anonymous shared their sentiments.
Since I came here, I have seen not less than 6 of them. There are a lot that I have not had a chance to see. There are many. We are talking of the ages around 12 to 15.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Love FM's Erastus Asaredonko there, ending News Night. My name is Aisha Ibrahim.
And my name is Evans Mensah. Up next is the cybersecurity conversation on... Put your microphone on.
Yeah.
On Geek Squad. Well, the man from Geek Squad who forgot the knob.
Yes, we're talking about the cost of cybercrime to the Ghanaian economy.
Okay.
They said Ghana lost about $50 million to cybercrime.
Yeah.
And we are probably going to lose about $100 million if we don't do anything. And this is actually Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Okay.
Today's the last day of October, so this is the last day.
And will we ever redeem this amount of money? Will we ever be able to resolve this?
It says lost, so it's gone. But we're now going to work on making sure we don't lose any more.
Okay.
Okay.
Stay with the Geek Squad. My name is Evan Spence. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep.